Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the How to Build series where we're going through every single champion in the game, rare and above at least, and I'm going to give you a quick reference guide, quick build guide to let you know what to do with them, what kind of artifacts to put on them, and what direction to head in with them. Now this is aimed at the newer players with less experience and who are new to this game or new to these types of games in general, and just need a little bit of guidance. I'm not going to be going into late game builds and strats. I'm not going to be talking about masteries because that gets a little convoluted and can be very specific depending on how you want to utilize a certain champ. So again, it's just going to be kind of a quick reference guide just to shed a little light on a champion and let you know what you're getting yourself into, where and how they could be useful, and how to gear them up. So quick disclaimer before I get into it. I'm not saying my way is the best way or the only way, and I'm not saying I know better than everybody. Like I said, I'm just trying to put these guides out to help some of the newer players out. So that being said, I'm going to kind of run through this. So get your notepads ready, get ready on that pause and rewind button, and let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to talk about the Conqueror in this game. He is a Bannerlord attack champion. He is farmable. You can actually get him from a stage in the campaign. So that is great news for anybody that decides they are interested in building him. He has a really cool little kit, and he has some pretty interesting uses. So let's talk about his base stats here. His base HP is pretty standard for a rare attacker. Nothing crazy good, nothing crazy bad, just run of the mill. His base attack is pretty nice for a rare attacker based on what I've seen anyway at this point. Over 1400 for base attack is nice for him. And then speed, he's right around 100, pretty average there too. Pretty solid set of base stats, honestly. And he looks really cool, I think. Let's talk about his kit. First skill, attacks one enemy 2 times. It's very straightforward. It's just a double hit. No debuffs, no special stipulations, no nothing. Just hit somebody 2 times. Great. Attacks one enemy, removes 2 random buffs from the target. Now buff strip's always nice. This is a double buff strip too. This is pretty cool. This makes him useful in the magic potion dungeon. This makes him useful in any dungeon where the boss is getting buffs. This is very helpful. Anytime you can buff strip, that's nice. You're stripping attack buff, your team's taking less damage. You're stripping defense buff or shield, your team's doing more damage. You know what I mean? Any buff you can strip is always nice. So this is really cool. Double buff strip, and when you skill him up, it's a 2-turn cooldown. So basically he's going to keep buffs off of whoever you're fighting for as long as the fight's going if you have him skilled up. And again, he's farmable, so there's no reason if you decide you want to use him, you can't skill him all the way up. It's going to take a decent bit of farming, but you don't have to use tomes on him, and you don't have to wait to summon him. You can just farm enough of him to skill him up. So a 2-turn cooldown on a 2-buff strip, pretty nice. I was not aware that you could get that down to a 2-turn cooldown. Third skill, attacks one enemy. Enemies killed by this skill cannot be revived. So right off the top, Ice Golem dungeon is where this is going to really be effective. And the reason is because in the Ice Golem dungeon, for those of you that have done runs in there, you know that the Ice Golem has the 2 minions, and if they're alive, when you get his HP to a certain point, he's going to do a lot more damage. And he's got a much better chance of freezing you. So it's a really rough dungeon to be in if you're not taking out those minions first. And every time he hits a certain point in his HP, he revives them. Now, note in that dungeon, he's not summoning them, he's reviving them, which means this skill can keep them from being revived. So if you can kill them in a way that prevents them from being revived, your runs are going to speed up a lot. They're going to speed up drastically because you no longer have to keep focusing them down and then going after him. And I mean, I'm at a point now where I kill them and then I hit him and he triggers the skill and brings him back. And then I have to kill him, but every time I hit him, I'm doing enough damage to trigger that skill. So it's really annoying. And if I had a Conqueror built for that, or someone that with a passive or something that had that built in where they couldn't be revived, my runs would speed up a lot. So really useful in Ice Golem. The only reason I'm not using him is because I want to auto everything. But if you want to manual it, or you want to build him and put him on anyway on the off chance that this will happen, because as I said, honestly, I may go back and build him now because I was not aware you could get this down to a 3-turn cooldown. I didn't realize that there were 2 cooldown reductions in his skill ups here, so I may go back and build him and put him on an Ice Golem team just to see how he goes. Because we're 3-turn cooldown on this makes it a lot more likely he's going to get to land this on one of them at any point in the battle. And here we've got a 2-turn buff strip. And he's got an attack buff in his aura. I think I'm going to go back and build a Conqueror, to be honest now. I was not aware that this kit was this solid and that you could get those cooldowns so low. That's kind of insane. Alright, so let's talk about gear. We want him to have accuracy because stripping buffs is reliant on accuracy. So we want him to have some accuracy, but we really just want him doing damage. So really early on, I generally tell players to not worry too much about crit rate and crit damage. So, did you see that? Attack percentage, speed, and then we want some accuracy. So I would put him on attack sets, and I might even throw an accuracy set in if I had it, just so that I didn't have to focus too hard on accuracy as an actual stat itself. But attack percentage on the gloves, attack percentage on the armor, probably speed on the boots is the way to go. And then as you begin to get more gear, especially if you're farming the Ice Golem dungeon with him, crit rate gear will start dropping, better attack gear will start dropping, and you can begin to look for a crit rate percentage pair of gloves, and then incorporate a crit rate set. So maybe have attack set, crit rate set, accuracy. And then as you start to get gear, if you start to get a lot of gear that has nice accuracy in the subs, you could swap out that accuracy set for an attack set. But you want him to have the accuracy because you want him landing the strip if you're going to be using him in places where the buffs are crucial like that. Otherwise, just double attack speed is fine because I don't think this doesn't have to land. This just means if he kills somebody with this skill, they're not coming back. So it's not a debuff that has to land, to my understanding. You just have to kill them with the skill. So only accuracy if you're wanting to use him in like the magic potion dungeon or something like that, so that he lands a strip. Otherwise, double attack speed would be fine. Double attack crit rate set would be fine. Attack crit rate speed, something along those lines. But you could put a speed set on him if you wanted to go attack percentage on the boots, for example. But attack percentage on the gloves, and then crit rate on the gloves a little later down the line. Attack percentage on the armor, and then speed or attack percentage on the boots. And really, you're going to be wanting to look for attack sets and crit rate sets. You could throw a speed set in the mix if you wanted to, and then accuracy if you wanted to use them somewhere where the strip was going to be important. And he'd even be nice in arena, to be honest. You have him go after your nuker, because a lot of people love using Shaman on their arena defense, especially down in bronze and even into silver. People love Shaman, and she's the epic that you get after your first week of playing. She's a reviver. So what you could do is have your nuker take out as much of the team as he could. Shaman's usually going to survive that, and then if anybody else survives, he can come in with this skill behind, kill him, and that's one less option she has to revive, basically. So his aura works everywhere. So I do. I think I'm going to go back and build a Conqueror. I did not realize that he had this much utility, and I did not realize you could get his cooldowns down that low. That's interesting to know. I'm going to go back and build one. So I think my rating for him, for what you'd want to use him for, I think we've got to go let's go 7.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. 7.5. And the only reason he's not higher is because of the fact that generally you're going to want to be autoing when you're doing these runs. So it's the fact that you kind of have to look up. He has to land the killing blow on one of the minions in the Ice Golem dungeon. If it was a passive, his ranking would shoot way up. But 7.5 is still well above average. So for what he's going to be used for, I think 7.5 out of 10 is a pretty fair rating. He's good enough that I'm convinced I'm going to go back and build him and put him to use. Looks like a really fun champion to have. And again, he's farmable, so get you one, skill him up, put him to use. He's going to be nice, and yeah, everywhere I've said already. So that'll do it for the Conqueror. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about anything I've said, drop them in the comments below. If you have any opinions on anything I've said, drop them in the comments below. If you think he's better than I said he was, or worse than I said he was, or you're using him for different things that maybe I didn't mention or think about here, there's nothing wrong with having as much information as possible in the comments down below. I hope it was helpful. If you want to try to catch me, I stream every weekday on Twitch at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/JGigs. And that'll do it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Again, I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.